Welcome to Abstract Soundtrack. My name's Leif Kaner-Lidström. I'm a pianist and composer, and in my spare time, I love to go to the cinema. Alongside my career as a performing musician, another dream of mine has been to write film music. So on this show, I'll be sharing thoughts on some of the films I loved watching this month, and following each entry, I'll perform an improvisation to abstractly accompany my impression of the film. If you like the music you hear on this podcast and you want to hear more, you can head to your chosen streaming platform and listen to my alter ego, Eric Siegert. That's the pseudonym that I regularly record and release soft felted piano music under, and there are lots of recordings to choose from. Sometimes going to the cinema in the middle of the day is the best time to see a film. And that's how I saw Hamnet, directed by Chloe Zhao. I went with my brother and the cinema was almost empty, leaving plenty of room for our tears to flow freely. The film centres around Jessie Buckley's character Agnes and her life together with William Shakespeare and their children, and it's set over roughly a decade. And the performances from the actors Jessie Buckley, Emily Watson, Paul Mescal, and the young Jacoby Jupe, they were truly, truly phenomenal. And there's a constant driving force in the film where Agnes seems to have almost magical powers that she inherits from the forest, summoning the forces of nature. And the story's compelled by her instincts, which present themselves in a druidic and mystical way, and they're done with great subtlety. And with this intuition, Agnes seems to be able to see into Shakespeare. She sees his genius. And it's a beautiful, heart-wrenching tale of love and of loss, showing us everything we have to gain in life, as well as everything we have to lose. And in this film, Shakespeare's way of working through his grief is to escape into his imagination and into his work, rescuing himself from loss by means of his creativity. After recommendations flying in from all angles, I went to see Marty Supreme, the new Josh Safdie film. It's set in the 1950s New York City. Timothy Chalamet, he plays Marty Mauser, a very talented table tennis player. He's impatiently eager to prove himself in an era where the sport hasn't quite started to be taken seriously. And the film is it's a non-stop series of events. It almost always boils over, it twists and it turns, and it's shown through the story of our surprisingly daring and shockingly arrogant main character. Marty's motive is to chase his dreams at any cost to himself, but as the audience, we're made very aware of the cost to those around him. I went to see 28 Years Later, The Bone Temple, directed by Nia DaCosta, again with my brother. We'd both seen 28 Years Later by Danny Boyle only very recently, so it was nice to essentially watch these films back to back. As opposed to the usual mindless zombies rabidly hunting humans, the true horror in this film was really the violence of humans against other humans. And it's a dark and twisted story about a brutal and confused cult leader. At the same time, it's a hopeful journey in finding company and comfort in a deep and lonely existence. What warmed me about the film was Ralph Fiennes' character, an eccentric and humorous but incorruptibly good person set against the backdrop of a forsaken world. His presence was reassuring in a film that can sometimes feel frighteningly realistic. I'd always like to include a cult classic on this show, and there's plenty of them that I haven't seen. But going back to the lead up to Christmas, I went to see Frank Capra's It's a Wonderful Life with my friend Rob. It was his first time seeing it, and the first time I'd seen it in 20 years. It's set in a small town in the state of New York. It's set over a few decades, and the film's main character is played by Jimmy Stewart, who's given up on his dreams of travelling and exploring the world in order to help those in need in his community. And it's intertwined with an iconic love story. It's a film full of small moments that fill the heart with compassion and empathy, joy and sadness, seeing the life of a person we'd all love to have in our lives, despite the fact they don't know how magnificent they are. Lastly, we'll hear a recording from my alter ego, Eric Siegert. If you like the music, please head to your chosen streaming platform to listen to more. This piece is called The Glade from my EP Ode to Unsaid Thoughts. A little stream trickles softly into an opening in the trees. The glade is a peaceful sanctuary where dappled sun shines through the treetops. This podcast was brought to you by Lordship Loft Recordings, written by me, Leif Kaner-Lidström, and produced by Dave Holmes at Lightship 95 Studios, London.